Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And this podcast is going to be a little different. And I've decided to talk about a specific cultured vegetable and tell you a little story of something that happened to me. And to try to help you to combat, if you are sick with the flu or a cold or virus or whatever, I want to tell you some specific details about this specific cultured vegetable that would really, really help you because it has helped me so much. But what I'm doing with this podcast is at the end, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, I'm going to put a video of how to make these cultured videos at the end. And if you're listening to the podcast on a different platform that doesn't have video, I'm going to put the link description below so you can go watch the video. Because I want you to see it. It's super easy. It's a super easy vegetable to make. You'll love it. It's only like 2 or 3 ingredients, and it has been a godsend for me. And first, before I get into this, I want to tell you a story. It was Christmas time this year, and my husband's boss had given us a timeshare in the Cayman Islands. So it was like a couple of weeks before Christmas, and we were heading off to the Cayman Islands. And I had worked really hard to get everything done with my business before I left. I worked for months trying to get stuff done, get everything all set up. I trained some people to do some things that I was doing and while I was gone. So we get to the airport. We get up at 3 a.m. to go to the airport. And we're standing in line. And we get up there and they say, you cannot go to the Cayman Islands because your passport has 6 months before the expiration date and it only has a month and a half. So needless to say, I was devastated. I was so upset. I didn't have any idea that that was a policy. I just thought as long as I had some time on my, before it expired and that I would be back before it expired, that it would be fine. So I was on the phone trying to figure it out, trying to get a visa, but it was such a nightmare. By the time even if I did get a short visa, it was Saturday we were leaving and I wasn't going to get it till Monday. So we couldn't leave till Tuesday and then we wouldn't get there till Wednesday. And so long story short, some things happened that we changed our plans and we went to Hawaii. We were pretty close to Hawaii because we live near San Diego. And they had all these really good deals going on. So we booked a trip and we went to Hawaii. So instead of going to Cayman, after I cried in the airport for an hour, I was traumatizing most of the people at the airport because I couldn't stop crying. Long story short, I went to Hawaii, I had a wonderful time. But the day that I came back, when I got back home, I had some kind of virus or something. And my husband had packed the kefir to take with us to Hawaii, but he forgot to put the little easy kefir package in the jar. So I didn't have any kefir the whole time I was in Hawaii, no cultured vegetables. I did get some kombucha when I was there, but I really didn't have any cultured foods. And when I got back, I was the sickest I had ever been in my life. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I had a very, very high fever and I couldn't even do anything. I was a wreck. And it was really scary because of course, I don't get sick very often. So that it's extra scary for me. Long story short, I couldn't eat anything. My stomach was very, very upset, but I could have the juice from cultured vegetables. And I'm talking a teaspoon because I couldn't handle anything else. And nothing was working. I wasn't getting better until I took a spoonful of this juice. And then the very next day, my fever broke. I started to get better. And it was after having a high fever for a while. And the more I took it, the better I got, the faster I got, the better I was able to eat everything. And guys, I've done this a very long time. I have been doing these cultured foods for a very long time. And here's the thing. My husband got it too. My husband and I both got it. I don't know if we got it on the plane. I don't know where we got it. But when he came home, he told me he didn't feel right. And he had 2 cups of cultured vegetables with some chips. And I did not do that. He did that. He was better in 3 days. I was over a week because I hadn't had those veggies. And he had them every day for 3 days. And I mean, he was going back to work. He was great. And I was like, I'm cultured food life and I'm not even having my own cultured vegetables because I was so sick. I didn't even want to get out of bed. long story short, these vegetables saved me and my husband. I've done this so long. I've made these for so long, and I forget because I don't get sick that often how wonderful they are. And when I started to get better, I am so thankful for them that I'm making this podcast. Because if you guys, there's not a lot out there that can help with a virus. Antibiotics don't work on viruses. They just don't, they can't kill it because it's a whole different way that the body deals with it. And you need more good bacteria to fight a virus. And there's specific bacteria in cultured vegetables called Lactobacillus plantarum that is so strong that they have used it on the bird flu. It killed the bird flu in the chickens that they had in the country when they had the bird flu years ago. They used it on people. They've used it on people with the flu. And it is so fabulous. And I wish more people knew about it. You do not have to believe me. I'm just telling you, if you will just make these vegetables, they last a long time in your fridge, keep them in there. And then when you get sick and you try them, then it will make you a believer. But I see so many people struggling right now with the flu. And I don't know if the empathy I got because I'd never gotten anything that bad is so pronounced because I'm so thankful I had this. I'm so thankful that this was in my fridge, that my daughter actually made these for me because we were doing recipes one day and she made me a bunch because they had this type of vegetable already cut up and she just stuck it in a jar and you put a little orange juice or orange zest in it and you just let it ferment. And I was so thankful to have these. And I had other cultured veggies in my fridge too that I took. But this one in particular is very, very strong because it is made with a prebiotic food, which is jicama, which is, they call it a Mexican potato, but it is a very, 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 very strong prebiotic. So what that means is when you make this cultured vegetable, which by the way, tastes fantastic and kids love it, people love this cultured vegetable, you're going to get 5-10 times more probiotics from this vegetable than the other vegetables because of the prebiotic that it's made with. Because jicama is such a big prebiotic, which is food for bacteria, which makes good bacteria grow and multiply. So this is my thankful heart for the cultured vegetables that were sitting in my fridge when I needed them. I am so grateful they were there because I was so sick and it made such a difference for me. I was pretty run down when I went there. I was exhausted. I was tired and I did not have my cultured foods there. So I learned my lesson, but I'm really thankful that these things happen to me because then I can share it with you. I have more compassion for you. I'm seeing so many people so sick right now, and I understand what they're going through. Had I not gone through this, I wouldn't have understood it. So I want to give you something super easy to make, something that tastes really good, and all you have to do is have a teaspoon of the juice, maybe once a day or twice a day, and it will start you on the road to recovery. And I have a lot of research on this particular bacteria that's in it. And I want to tell you something about it. The bacteria in cultured vegetables is very specific to cultured vegetables. It's also in kefir, but it does not work as well in kefir as it does in cultured vegetables because it becomes dominant. It is the most dominant probiotic. And so it becomes very strong because you're just feeding that probiotic. So this is the one I recommend if you have the flu. And the one thing about this is it's a transient bacteria, so it doesn't last in the body more than 3 to 5 days. So you need to have it often because it doesn't last very long. And so that's really important, especially if you're struggling with the flu. So let me explain to you how this particular probiotic food works. Because it's good to know more about how these things work because then it kind of works with your body. It also works with your mind because when you're sick and you have something, all you can think about is how sick you are. You can't reach outside of that. And so anything that's going to make you feel better, that's going to give you hope is such a good thing. Okay, so once again, the superstar bacteria that is in this cultured vegetable, which is in all cultured vegetables, by the way, so you don't have to have this one. Any cultured vegetable will work for the flu, but this one is particularly strong. But this special bacteria that's in it is Lactobacillus plantarum, which is extremely hardy. It survives stomach acids with ease. It can make the full trip from your mouth to your intestines to your colon, and it will colonize you in a very, very powerful way. It is a very welcome guest that works mightily for you by fiercely attacking pathogens. and bacteria, that's in our bodies. And it will strengthen your good bacteria by killing the bad guys. And this makes your good bacteria grow stronger, and it helps it to be more resistant to future invasions of pathogens. And it steals the nutrients from the pathogenic bacteria or whatever is inside of you that's fighting you. It takes the nutrients, and then so it runs out of food, so it dies. And it only lasts a few days in the body, but it is extremely powerful. And I've seen, it's so good for food poisoning, for stomach viruses. I was so sick. My stomach was so upset. And the only thing that calmed it down was the spoonfuls of juice I was taking. And it was a while before I had taken any of this cultured vegetable juice. But as soon as I did, the next day, that day, my stomach started to calm down. And it's being used even, it's been getting a lot of research done on it because it's so superior to helping things like with vomiting, stomach cramps, nausea, and nothing works better. I can't tell you. And I see it's all over my website. It's on my Lives Touch page. If I post stuff, everybody on Facebook and Instagram, they all tell me the same things. It works powerfully. But most people don't believe it until they try it and until they need it. And so, I love that. I love that I don't have to convince you that the food will do the work for you. But anyway, everybody's really sick right now, and I really wanted to do this podcast to help people because I know how you feel. It was bad. I called all of my sisters and my mom crying because I was sick, because I'm like never sick, and they were all like, it was really funny though, because like nobody in my family was worried about me, and I was like half dead. They knew that I would come back, and it's a very powerful lesson for me because, when I feel bad, I feel like the world's coming to an end because I'm not used to it. But I'm really thankful for what happened because those crazy vegetables, you guys, I tell people this all the time, and I've known this for years, but until it happened to me again, I was like, oh my gosh, these work so good. I have to tell everybody because there's not a lot of things out there that really help you with viruses. And so a jar of this lasts a very long time in your fridge, months. And it can be such a powerful tool if you have it. It's so easy to make. It's so delicious. And you guys don't even have to eat the vegetable. You can just drink the juice. So if you're looking for a really easy vegetable to culture, I named this Jicama if you're Sicka-ma because it works so well. And it's crunchy, it's slightly sweet, and you'll just love it. If you get a cold or flu, it is delicious with just a spoonful to make such a difference to help you speed you on your way to recovery. You get huge amounts of probiotics in this cultured vegetables. And these billions of probiotics are going to help you combat your sickness. But that's not all. Jicama is a prebiotic that makes these microbes grow 10 times more than they would if you didn't put this particular prebiotic in it, because it's just so powerful. It's one of the most powerful prebiotics. The fiber, that's in the jicama is indigestible by humans, but your gut bacteria can digest it. And that's what the food is. The food is for the bacteria that makes it grow and multiply so you get more of it. The special type of prebiotics called inulin that's in this food. And it helps form new compounds in the body, like butyric acid, lactic acid, which are short chain fatty acids, which really help boost your immune system. They support weight control. They balance hormones. They improve digestion. They help you fight colds and flus. And even I was reading an article in the British Journal of Nutrition found that inulin, which is, I sell that in Prebio Plus too, because it's so powerful and it's made from things like jicama. And I was reading in this article that they have even found that inulin has chemo protective properties that are capable of lowering. They protect you from if you have to have chemotherapy, and they will lower your risk of cancer coming back. So this prebiotic inulin that is in jicama is found to be very effective in tumors in rats and mice. When they were given it with probiotics, they shrunk the tumors in the mice, and it is just has a beautiful and look about it and it tastes fantastic. So if you really want to change your gut, if you're sick, if you're struggling, and even if you just want to do this, keep these in your fridge. I used to sell these a long time ago in a health food store when I first started Cultured Foods, and I couldn't keep up with the demand because people loved them so much. And it drove me crazy. I was just spending all my days cutting up jicama, and I really wanted to have more of an online business to help people to know about knowledge. And so they were very, very, very popular, but I just couldn't keep up with it, nor did I want to. I didn't want to be in that industry. I was more about teaching people, the understanding and knowledge of what these foods do. So if you're wanting one of the more powerful cultured vegetables, I really recommend you try them. I cut these jicama up into sticks. I put some orange zest, a little bit of orange juice. I put a culture in it, let it sit on the counter. I think it's like 2 or 3 days, and they're done. And they will last a long time in your fridge. You can eat them. They're kind of like carrot sticks, but they're white. And kids love them because they have a little bit of a zesty taste. The orange taste gives them a really good flavor. But I'm doing this because I really want to help people, because we really need some healthy alternatives to drugs and to things that, sap our bodies and are hard on them. And this is a healthy way to allow your body to do what it's supposed to do. And that is to boost your immune system and fight pathogens and viruses and colds and flus. And so it is like one of my favorite. I love all cultured vegetables, and I did have ones besides these, but I just thought I would give you guys this because it's super easy and it's fun to make. So if you're listening on the podcast, you can check the link below and you can go and look at the video either on my website or on YouTube. I'll put the link in there. But if you're on YouTube, stay tuned because we're going to put the video at the end of this podcast. So thanks for listening. Stay well out there. It's crazy out there right now. Get some tools in your little refrigerator that will give you some things that can fight colds and flus and sickness. And you'll be so thankful you did, just like I was. Thanks for listening to me talk about my stories, but I'm thankful. I'm really thankful for what I went through, because it has once again really strengthened me to know that these foods are foods that work like medicine. I love them. And I love you guys, and I want to help you. And I hope that this will make all the difference for you if you're sick or if you're not sick, if it just strengthens your immune system and keeps you well. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.